Great morning, everyone. And I'm not going to be on here long. I just wanted to jump on real quick and talk about a few things that have me troubled and that are going on in my mind. Um, uh, Tremendous yesterday as far as worship. That's always good on Sundays. Yesterday was the Super Bowl, and watched the Super Bowl, although my team was not in it. Watched the Super Bowl. But wanted to come on. I'm concerned about the spirit of control and narcissistic behavior. I'm concerned because that it seems to be a spirit that is loosed in our land, in our country, in our world, where people want to be in control. So I wanted to come on here just a few minutes to sort of talk about it because I believe that it is a demonic spirit whenever people want to control things. One of the things about God and about faith is you always have to be at a place where you recognize you have to trust God even when you can't trace Him. The Bible says, lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will direct your paths. I don't always like to come on and just, especially on this format, and just start quoting scriptures. But I am concerned because there's a lot of us who the opposite to faith is doubt. And in order to have faith, there's a Greek portion, pisto, you got to trust. And so if you don't trust, or if you don't yield control, if you don't submit to the authority of something or someone else, you won't have trust. Let's look at the definition of a narcissist. A narcissist is an individual with an excessive pathological need for admiration, a profound lack of empathy, and an inflated sense of self-importance. That is a mouthful. That is when a person cannot see the good in anybody else, when they cannot compliment anybody else. They get to the point where they become so selfish, they think it's all about them. And so with that, we have a lot of grandiose behavior. There's a lot being said. People are soliciting the opinions of the halftime show and various things, and people are saying there's a reason why Bad Bunny was actually selected. There's a reason why Jay-Z pushed him out there. Um, but I want to deal partially with the theme. And like I said, I'm only going to be about 15, 20 minutes. Martin Luther King said it first in one of his sermons a long time ago. The sermon was Loving Your Enemies. And he was saying, returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deep darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And then Bad Bunny came back yesterday and reminded us that the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Same thing, just said two different people, different things. America has never had a one culture. It has never had one religion. It's never had one language. It has never had one group of people. And so it makes me fearful when there are people who say that what we're trying to do or what they are trying to do is produce one culture, one religion, or one language. We had a lot of controversy a couple of weeks ago. Great morning, my daughter Shell. We had a great controversy a couple of weeks ago because people were mad because the Buddhists were walking for peace when all of us want peace, but we got mad at the Buddhists, but we're at home sitting down instead of walking for the same peace. So we have a tendency to frown on other folks, although we're after the same objective because they don't believe like we believe, think like we think, dress like we dress, act like we act, talk like we talk. And that is becoming a prime partner. I will remind you that people of color went through the same thing in the 60s. We're getting ready to celebrate on February 2nd. We celebrated the Greensboro Four who went into a Woolworths and sat down at the counter and refused to leave until they were given service. Same thing happened in High Point. However, it happened with high school students from Penn Griffin as well as from Central High School who did the same thing, not on the same day, but in order to change the course of history. My grandmother lived in a time when they did the same thing in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and then they marched over and listened to a message, a sermon from Dr. Martin Luther King at the Gola AME Zion Church. So we've gone through this, and I must remind you that the philosopher is right. Those who do not know their history are doomed to repeat it. Those who do not know their history are doomed to repeat it. So history is important. It's important that we know what happened. It's important that we talk about things like that. It is also important that we support. I preach a sermon from time to time that says somebody ought to say something. We can't just sit down and allow other people to be mistreated or allow injustice to prevail just because it is not us or people of color or things like that. The United States has a statue in New York, Statue of Liberty, which says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." We've always been the melting pot. We've always accepted immigrants. Jesus himself was an immigrant. Jesus was an outcast. Jesus came from another place. So we've always had to deal with immigration. While I am like 99% of Americans and don't want our borders to be open, just allowing anybody to come through, I think we all can agree with that. I don't always appreciate the treatment that people receive or the treatment that people are receiving. I don't like, and I'm just going to say it, what's going on in Minnesota. I don't like it when we're killing our own. I don't like it when instead of taking muggers and put them out, we're locking up and we are mistreating mothers. I don't like it when we are mistreating children and putting children in cages and things like that. I believe there's always a better way. The Constitution of the United States even says all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. According to the Constitution of the United States, we're supposed to be able to practice our religion even when it does not agree with the whole. Just because we don't agree with the same God, people are supposed to be able to have that kind of right. People are supposed to be able to have the right without restrictions to live in a country without being mistreated, without being abused, without being misused. As I looked last night, what I came to because I'm not a Bad Bunny fan. I'm not a lot of music kind of is different to me. But I appreciate being a person who grew up in church with music. I appreciate people's creativity. I appreciate their right to express. And I believe that music is a universal language because, the right music will stimulate, the right music can change the atmosphere, the right music, they used to, they don't do it now, play in the Walmart and different stores, music, because the music would prompt people to shop. The music would prompt people to be calm. The same thing as if you went to the doctor and the walls were all painted black and they played rock music, and it would disturb you. And when they check your blood pressure, I promise you, your blood pressure would be high. So music has a universal language. Music can calm. Music can soothe. We see this even in the Bible with David. David was able to play his harp, and Saul calmed down. So music has a universal language. It has a power to unite and to bring together. It has the power to do all kinds of things. But we do not all express ourselves the same way. We don't have the same look. We don't have the same sound. We don't have the same actions. We don't speak the same language. And in every game, there are two opposers. Last night, there were two teams, but only one could win. One had to lose. And it was determined by which team had done their preparation and played the hardest. So you're always going to have a winner and a loser. But you can't be angry because you did not win. You didn't do everything you could to win. You tried, but you didn't succeed. You worked hard. You practiced. You won all the games that you won this year. But sometimes it comes down, there must be a winner and a loser. But then, if you lose, you have the opportunity to go back home, to train, to work hard, to lift weights, whatever you're going to do, to get your team ready for the next year, and you have the opportunity to come back. You have the opportunity. When I was growing up, Bishop Ralph Donnie Graves and Mother Letty Cohens and the Clark sisters' mother all taught us, David Allen, when I was singing with choirs, that you never get up on an anniversary and only support your own. The choir was struggling. We were taught, get up. Sopranos, help them. Although we were not in the choir loft, help them. Tenors, help them. Altos, help them. And we were never critical of each other. We learned how to support each other. We were never supposed to wait. And you sit down because some other choir is singing. That to me is the spirit of competition, and it has entered into our world where we don't support each other. Preachers who preach against other preachers, who preach and you don't like the way another preacher preaches. You don't like the way another person sings. You don't like that another person have rips and they have rolls. Every person is entitled to their own creativity. Every preacher is entitled to their own style. I'm not going to get mad at you if you don't preach like I preach, if you just stand flat-footed. Neither am I going to get mad at you if you do a lot of theatrics. It is to each its own. God has created us and given us the ability to have our own creativity. God has given us the ability that you don't have to be like anybody else. And thank God, we don't have to sound like, we don't have to look like, we don't have to act like, we don't have to be like, I know that's not correct terminology, like anybody else. Reserve the freedom to have your own creativity, your own identity, your own abilities. Bad Bunny was chosen, and they chose him to do the halftime show. And whatever you think about it, he did what he felt he needed to do. He was chosen, but he also had choices. And I applaud him because he could have used that platform and been nasty, been dirty, played the game that other people are playing, been critical. But he, in a positive way, came back and gave his display. Good morning, Lamar. How are you? And he gave his display without, being nasty, without being ugly, without being mean, without poking at anybody. He made his message. He got his message across. And while there were hidden messages, we appreciate his gift. His gift may not be like our gift. He might not have done what you thought he should have done or what you would have done had you had the opportunity, but it was his turn. And he capitalized off of his turn. He had the ability to be nasty. He had the ability to be offensive. He had the ability to be disrespectful. He chose the high road. My forever first lady, Michelle Obama, says, when they go low, we go high. awesome, awesome display of going high and not allowing what was going on to master him. Uh, so however you choose to display your gift, through preaching, through teaching, through singing, that's your business. And nobody should put you down or criticize or go off on you because you are different. Diversity is a necessity. Being different is wonderful. Being different is a gift. That's why we have so many various restaurants where you can get a hamburger. You want lettuce, pickles, whatever you want on it, you have that ability to go to that place. So with that, I want to give you a scenario. 5 people are standing together and they all witness the same accident. But if you will get all of them together, you're going to find out all 5 saw something different. They all 5 have a different view of the incident or the accident, and very seldom do 2 witnesses see the same thing. They see it through their lenses, through their eyes. They see it through what they were doing at that particular time. It's diversity, but very seldom do any 2 witnesses out of the 5 have the same testimony of what happened. I want to say to you, it is left to interpretation. It's left to interpretation. And I don't expect you to only see what I see because you're my family. I don't expect you, Lamar, to only see what I see because you're attached to me. Michelle, because you're my daughter. I don't expect you to only see what I see. I don't expect you to don't like, who I don't like because you're connected to me. I don't expect my church to don't like who I like because you're my member. Everybody has a right, and it is left to interpretation. It's time for this whole world to expect things and to be true to the things that are going on, to be honest, integrate, responsible. That's the world we should live in, where people have rights. And narcissism is when you want to control everything, everybody, what they say, how they wear their hair, how they act, what they think, what they interpret. And it's crazy because we're living in a time when we have people who feel like what other people do is under their control. I promise you that can get you in trouble. You cannot always control the narrative. You cannot always control people. You cannot always control how things are going. People have the right to be free, free in their expressions, free in their sermons, free in their, and not to be critical or to put another person down. Let's stop this spirit of craziness. Maybe he only sang in Spanish. That was his choice. Maybe the imagery that he used was not the imagery you would have used. That was his choice. Maybe he's not your favorite artist. You would have rather have heard some of the others. He was the one picked for this time. Let's learn how to respect the rights, the position, the artistry, the creativity of other folks. And let's learn how to let folks be who they are. That's all I have to say. I just came on here simply to say that, because we are living in a crazy world full of narcissism, when people feel like they can control everything. Great morning to my son Ruben, and great morning, Sister Kim. I just came on here for a few minutes because I'm concerned about us getting to the place that we don't allow people to be. I'm glad people don't look the same. I'm glad all people don't act the same. It is like your fingerprint. No 2 people have the same fingerprints. God made each one of us individually and different. We should respect the fact that all of us are different. Be you, but be the best you can be. That's all I have to say. I'm signing off. I have a couple of meetings and stuff like that I got to go to, but it was just on my heart because when I see this morning, and I didn't understand all of the imagery. But when they started playing it back today, somebody got married. Lady Gaga sang. The other artist, who is a Puerto Rican artist, sang. He gave his Grammy to the little boy, which was a system of showing that as a little kid he was inspired. Some people say, "Well, that's his son." Some people say, "Well, that's a," people will read everything they can into it. But when you go back and you look at the imagery, I'm so glad that he took the high road and that he was positive and his message still got over. I say, good job, Bad Bunny. I had to get his name straight because, I don't know people's names. But I say good job in displaying your gift and using your time. Each one of us, I wish Lamar knew the poem that my uncle Bishop gives. It talks about time. It talks about the opportunity. Each one of us is given time. We're given an opportunity. What you do with it is so important. Use the time that you have wherever you are valuable and help to affect the life of other folks around you. Great day. I'm out of here. Thank you for those of you that tuned in. Ricky Martin, thank you, Damon. You was a little, I didn't see it until later, but thank you, Ricky Martin. But just a beautiful display of what I thought was a good, positive way. He could have clapped back. He could have cussed the president out. He could have done a whole lot of things. But I say, just the opportunity. And we should do the same thing, Damon, in preaching. I don't think we should be preaching about other preachers and what we don't like and what their wives got on and all that kind of. Preach the gospel. Preach the word. Be instant in season. People need the word of God. We need to let people be who they are. Be the best you. One day, in about 45, 50 years, I'm going to be gone off the scene. Hopefully you remember that I encourage you to be the best you that you could ever be. Have a great day.